Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare video. In tonight's video, I have a lot of new updates to talk about into this game. Of course, the Season 1 was announced and sort of the new maps, the modes, the weapons are going to be seen in that on December 3rd. But we also have some developers who have been tweeting about some new info and updates we're going to be getting into this game basically on Twitter, and also having some conversations because a lot of YouTubers flew out to the studios to play, I guess, Season 1 content or whatever it may be, and they were able to talk to Joe Seacott and other developers directly and get some really good answers. Or I don't know if the answers are good, but ask some good questions about stuff that we really care about in the community and get the updates on that. So a lot of stuff to talk about tonight in this video. If you guys could drop a like on this thing, that would be absolutely incredible. Let's go ahead and go for 682 likes. If we could hit that, that would be amazing. Smash that like button. It takes just like a millisecond. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably have seen this battle or Season 1 announcement, content announcement for the new, I guess you could say, battle pass or just the new season drop, because this did come out yesterday, but I will show it up on the screen as of right now. December 3rd, the free on all the platforms. This is what we're going to be getting, and this looks pretty nice. Crash Vacant Shipment multiplayer maps, obviously all from Call of Duty 4, which makes me think maybe they're going to do Call of Duty 4 maps, then the next drop do MW2, then MW3. I don't know. That's a pretty insane way if they're going to do it like that. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, also a new ground war map, some new 2v2 gunfight maps, new multiplayer modes, reinforced, gunfight OSP, and infected, which I know is a fan favorite, some new Spec Ops experiences, and of course 2 new weapons, which as far as the weapons that we got, which I'm really interested in probably the maps and the weapons. I like the maps, Crash, Vacant, and Shipment. You can't really go wrong with those for Call of Duty 4. And the weapons, we have the Ram 7, which is introducing a new fully automatic bullpup assault rifle with integrated Picatinny rails at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, and then the Holger 26 LMG spec of the Holger model rifle with integrated sight rail and drum magazine for additional ammunition carrying capacity. So this looks good. Honestly, this assault rifle, the Ram 7, kind of looks like the TAR 21. I think this is the same looking TAR 21 we had previously from the leaks, and also on the leaks we also had an LMG of some sorts that was coming, and it looks like probably that is going to be the Holger 26. So this comes out, of course, starting on December 3rd, but up until December 3rd, what other announcements do we have? Because we have updates that people are talking about as of right now, and the first one is going to be double XP and 2 times weapon XP, which is live in Modern Warfare through now until December 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And this is huge, not necessarily because of the double XP, which can be important for people that are still trying to rank up and maybe get all their officer challenges done, get to that max level before the end of Season 1, if you want to get things such as like that M16 variant of the M4, which is sort of the prize for getting 156. But the main thing here is double weapon XP. I'm seeing this and I'm like, okay, this is some time where you really want to take advantage and level up a lot of the weapons you've been ignoring in this game, because the level grind is quite a grind in this game. But the real grind probably is leveling up those weapons, and double weapon XP is very, very important. So as of right now, it is live in this game up until December 2nd at 10 a.m. And then, of course, 1 day off, and then the new content drops December 3rd or whatever. So very exciting stuff as far as those announcements. Now, what do we have in terms of, that is more public stuff that I'm sure most people probably know about. What do we have in terms of other low-key sort of updates or announcements that the developers are teasing, which I know people love when I talk about in these videos and cover. So drop a like, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, first of all, we had a player, Antivirus, tweeting at Joe Seacott, talking about any plans to add our own deaths to the scoreboard for all modes. I understand if you don't want to display everyone's deaths, but I'd love to be able to see at least mine during the game. And this is something that's interesting. I mean, this game is designed with such a safe space in mind. They don't even show you your own deaths in the menu, scared that if you see your own deaths and realize how bad you are, you're going to leave the game. And of course, it's going to hurt their playtime, going to hurt the amount of, obviously the more playtime, usually the more people are spending on DLC content and spending on this battle pass. And although we're going to get free content in terms of these maps and these weapons and stuff, they're going to be selling still a lot of stuff in the battle pass, which I'll probably talk about in a future video or something like that. But he replied saying, we talked about this idea, this exact thing recently. I don't have a solve, but I like the idea. So it looks like this is something they're focusing on in the studios. Personally, I think they really should adjust these scoreboards. I really hope they do this and take it seriously, because I understand if they don't want you to see your buddies or the enemy's deaths so you can sort of laugh at them them or bully them. I guess that kind of makes sense if they're trying to make it safe spaces. I'd prefer if it was just the way it was back in the day where you could just see everything, but it's not really the way it is in 2019. I guess, you know, I guess it's all about money and what brings them the most retention, and that's why these safe spaces are so prominent, because they obviously work to get people to, I mean, this game had one of the best launches of all time on Call of Duty, which is crazy, because if you just read Twitter and Reddit, you would think this game was one of the most hated Call of Duties, but it's actually been one of the most successful so far, at least on new consoles and all that. So definitely I think that this is something that you should at least be able to see your own, or have an option, maybe this is a good fix, I think. Have an option deep in the settings where you can turn it on and then you can see your own deaths, because most of the noobs that you're trying to protect, they won't even be able to find that option in the settings, or won't even put the time in to look through that. So that could be a good fix, I think, for that. Next, we have another tweet to Joe Seacott saying that he read the interview with Swag, and we're going to talk about this here in a second, where Swag was asking a bunch of questions. But Joe Seacott response here, he's basically asking about Ghost and how it's so powerful. We talked about perk balance and whether there were hard choices in the categories. It's something we're always looking at. And this is interesting to me, because hard choices means they want it to be tough to choose between two different things. And I think the second perk slot, although Ghost probably is still the standout, there are some hard choices. Personally, I find that the third spot, and especially the first spot, where it's either EOD or Overkill pretty much all the time as of right now in this meta, I think that could use some work. And perks have always been a thing where, like, people talk about add dead silence as a perk, add dead silence as a perk. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't think they've ever added a perk since release in Call of Duty history. Have they? I don't know. Maybe I'm just forgetting something, or I'm having a little brain blip, but I'm not sure if they did. But, you know, tweaking stuff happens all the time. And I think, judging by this tweet, I would respond to this and say, Joe Seacott, perk 1 and perk 2 slots, maybe with Ghost, maybe need to be looked at a little bit. And even the third perk slot. I mean, honestly, the perk balance in Black Ops 4 and this game are kind of weak. They're kind of trash, the perk balance, and it's relied more on the attachments to make cool class setups, which is, I love the attachments and build setups, even like a pick 10 system from BO4 or the system in this game. I think it's cool, but yeah, they can definitely do better on the perk balance. That was a criticism I had in BO4 as well. Next, we have Christoph, who's tweeting saying the VTOL jet and the precision airstrike seem to be very loud compared to the other kill streaks. Lower these two would help a lot. Thank you. And Seacott responds saying a change for this will be in a future update. So this is a good change. They're going to be not really silenting, but making these making them quieter. Silenting, that's not even a word, I don't think, but making these kill streaks quieter, which is awesome, because I know on like Shoot House it can be painful. I like to run like support helo. I call that in, then I call in my advanced, and I run around while the support helo's up, just slaying people out who are looking up in the sky with the advanced, or who are distracted by it or can't hear you coming. But the VTOL is another beast. That thing is just so damn loud, and I'm glad they're coming in with some changes to that, I guess you could say, as far as the sounds and adjusting that. Next we have is basically, because these YouTubers were flown out to Infinity Ward Studios, I think it was earlier this week or something, and they were able to talk to some of the developers. Swag, or otherwise known as Swag XBL, actually had a chance to talk directly with Infinity Ward's Joe Seacott, who is the multiplayer design director, who we've just been talking about his tweets, and he shared in his video some of the answers he got for questions he asked during the studio visit. And this is basically Charlie Intel summarized this and made an article, which I think is really cool, because this info, number one, I'm pretty good friends with Swag myself. We've been friends for like since like BO2 or whatever, however many years that's been. We used to play that multi-team stuff together, which was always so fun. But he was able to ask Joe Seacott directly. And this is awesome that he did this and that he's sharing this info. Big ups to Swag for this stuff, and it's a lot of good stuff to talk about that Charlie Intel put into an article form, and we're going to talk about it right here, because this stuff is interesting. This is the real, you know, when you're face to face with the developer, you can kind of ask as a real human the real questions that an angry kid on Twitter won't be able to get the same responses as, right? So first of all, Anaya Palace in Ground War. This is interesting because Anaya Palace is a map that was like, it was made for 20v20 or something like that, or Ground War made, I don't think 32v32, but 20v20 I think is what it was made for, and what people were playtesting this on. And then it comes out in the game and it's available in 10v10, but only TDM, not even DOM. It's so weird, and it's also a map that's a bit too big for 10v10. So what they said about Anaya Palace in Ground War is also because there was a message of the day the other day saying this map is perfect for Ground War, or something like that. It said something about how the map was good for Ground War, which is sort of hilarious because it's not even in Ground War. They said they're currently focused on new Season 1 content, and they want to eventually add it to Ground War. So that is good. Eventually they're going to add Anaya Place into Ground War, which is good. It just, this seems so funny. It's like this map from There was a map in like BO3. I don't even remember the name. If you know this name, leave it in the comment section down below. There was a map in BO3. It was a really bad map. I think I'm remembering the name right now, but I'm just going to leave it up for you guys anyway for the comment section down below, where that map was like taken out of PS4 BO3 for like a month or two just because of some glitch, but nobody really cared because it was a bad map. Anaya Place isn't a bad map. It can play bad on certain modes or amounts of people, but if you can fix that, it's a good map. Next is Dead Silence. For pubs, they will lower the footstep volume overall. Devs working closely with pros to test out what works best. And this was, a lot of pros were responding to this on Twitter saying it's basically some BS. They didn't really work directly with us, but at the same time, it's like maybe they worked with other pros, so who really knows? You know, if they said, hey, we're working directly with YouTubers, I could come out and say, they never messaged me, but they could be talking to other YouTubers. So you never really know, but they're going to lower the footstep volume overall for pubs. I mean, we know this has been happening for the first month of the game. It looks like it's going to continue to happen. Next is with perk balance. Seacott says Infinity Ward may have made some mistakes with perks and put too many in perk 1 slot. They need to analyze more to see how to change it to balance it better. So this is interesting, actually. Kind of goes in line with what I was just talking about. Maybe moving some of those perk 3s over to perk, I don't know, if they move EOD to perk 2, things will get a little, those will get a little spicy. Or they could move some perk 3 stuff or perk 1 stuff to perk 3. I don't know. There's lots of stuff they could do. Next is tank nerf. IW is working on nerfing the tank to reduce the straight shots it can make to avoid camping on the hills. That is very nice. We already had one nerf to the tank, so it looks like maybe they're going to come out with another one. Or, I mean, some of the times when they nerf this stuff, they just hotfix it in and don't even really mention it. But it looks like more stuff is going to be worked on for the tanks. Spawns in modes. Seacott says they're working on ways to improve the spawns across all modes and maps, still figuring out the best ways to balance it effectively. This is just a constant work in progress, of course, with spawns. Map voting. Now, here we get to some of the important stuff that we really care about and that the community's been asking and sort of been getting, like you could say, silence or no sort of results on. They don't want map voting because data from previous games shows that players leave if their vote does not win, which causes lobbies to break up. YouTubers suggested to add a vote to skip option. Seacott said they will look into this. Now, this is interesting with the map voting, causing the lobbies to break up. Now, I saw some people on Twitter saying, well, they break up the lobbies anyway, but I was thinking about that, like, does that make sense? And it's like, they do break up the lobbies, but they break them up after the game. This kind of does make sense in terms of, like I said, it's not really about what gives the core audience the best experience anymore. It's about what gives the overall data of every player the best experience to play the longest to get the most money out of them. That's sort of the game plan nowadays, which is, it does really screw over a lot of the core players, but I guess overall you could say it helps everyone. But yeah, if, you know, people would get salty if their map wasn't voted, leave, and it would take longer to start games and stuff. So I guess it does kind of make sense. Obviously they have the back end data, but we all want, I mean, I want map voting. Map voting was amazing. Pre-game lobbies, map voting. There was so much cool stuff in Call of Duty that's just been wiped away in this game, and I kind of miss that. Next is staying in the same lobby. In regards to staying in the same lobby after the match, there is an error in the game that does this often. They wanted it to be where you can stay in the same lobby, but it resets every several games to change it up, but that did not get implemented fully into the game for launch. So basically they're saying or admitting here that we want it to be where you can play in the same lobby a couple times or a few times and then it would reset you. I guess to do with their matchmaking or for whatever reasons they have on the back end because of that. But it looks like it just wasn't ready for launch. It was glitching out and they just said, you know what, screw it. Let's just go with the beta form for the game. So maybe we'll get that. I mean, I hope that means that maybe they're going to add lobbies. And I mean, come on, Call of Duty was built on things like that. I really hope they add that stuff back, but that's kind of an open-ended answer. We don't really know. Next is minimap. They have no plans to change the minimap. The design of it now was how they intended it to be in this game. Seacott said they wanted the UAV to be more of a reward. Swag says they asked why Ghost is so powerful then, and Seacott apparently said they would look at that more, but they want the minimap to stay as it is. So I think they definitely should nerf Ghost if this is the case, but no changes to the minimap. This is kind of a BS answer in my opinion, because they're saying the design of it now is how they intended it for it to be, but they were switching up many times, like as they're making this game and in the beta on how they wanted the map to be. So it's kind of like, I guess this is what they landed on, but I don't know if it's what they could say it's what they intended it to be. But yeah, it looks like the minimap overhaul is not going to happen. I talked about this in my last update video, saying that I think they changed their mind on that or whatever info, you know, whatever. That was something they were just working on back and forth. It looks like as of right now, the minimap is going to stay the way it is, but hopefully there's some other adjustments around it, around the Ghost or different things like that. It is kind of a disappointment. I don't like the way the minimap works in this game comparatively to other CODs. I think it does encourage camping a little bit, but this is the way it is. Obviously, this game is a lot about protecting your beginner players or new, because there's a lot of new people getting into the franchise, and there's a lot of money up for grabs in gaming in 2019. So I guess that makes sense. Next is with the Damascus camo. They're working on to fix issues with unlocking the camo, and they have a fix coming soon. You better. This stuff is just so laughable. They make like this insane camo. People grind literally all day, every day, sweating in their chairs, not taking showers, eating Doritos for meals to get this camo, and then it comes down to it and you can't even get it because of a bug, and the game's been out for over a month. It is pretty ridiculous. Not too much else to say on that. And next is about the matchmaking and the fact that the matchmaking could be based on a skill, of course, or is based on skill. I think pretty much most of us know at this point. Seacott mentioned it's a hot topic and he can't really talk about it. Matchmaking in Modern Warfare is not the same as Infinite Warfare, and that's different in every Call of Duty. The connection is a big priority and they are constantly tweaking on it. So basically a non-answer. I think the matchmaking is something that they've been sort of told to stay silent on because it's a big topic that people are asking about and never really getting any answers on mini-maps or on matchmaking. Luckily, we did get a little bit of an answer here from Swag going to the studios and asking these things directly to the developers themselves, and this was, some pretty good info we got here and some really good stuff to talk about. So as far as updates, some cool stuff we can expect, some other stuff that we can sort of not expect and that's been sort of killed because of the right from the source. But the Season 1 update is going to be amazing, I think, on December 3rd. These new maps, everything's going to be refreshing. I hope they have some sort of like maybe like a Crash 24/7 playlist, Shipment 24/7. I don't know what they're going to have, but it's definitely going to be interesting. And seeing that these COD 4 maps are coming out for the first one, I don't know, more Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I want to see that stuff. I love Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. I love COD 4 also. I mean, the Modern Warfare series is just... Infinity Ward was killing it with the Modern Warfare series, and then they had to go to Ghost and IW, and now we're back on Modern Warfare. So we're going to wait and see how this is. I'm excited for this new update. A lot of different updates to talk about in this video here that I covered, and yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys did enjoy this info, trying to get everything from the last today and yesterday and put it together for you guys in a video here. Obviously, more stuff we're going to have to talk about in future vids, but that's about it. Drop a like on this video if you guys did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, comment December 3rd down in the comment section down below so I know who made it to the end and I know who's excited for the Season 1 update. That's about it. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.